My name's Daniella Rabbani, and this is the Mom Curious podcast. Just in case you haven't been here before, welcome. I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Ruby Rose Fox of Muscle Music. She has a new book out and an audio book. But before we get started, I just want to ask one quick favor, which is, would you do an act of kindness today in honor of my amazing sister, Ariana Rabbani Rappaporte? This season of the Mom Curious podcast is dedicated to her, as is every single thing I will ever do in this life, because she gave me my first mic. She gave me all the confidence in the world. She was the person who I would run Shakespeare lines with while I was in acting school. And she'd be right there, front and center, with a bouquet of flowers. And my gratitude for my sister is so beyond words. This is just the very least I could do. So the very least you can do is just maybe be nice to someone. Give the cabbie a tip, or I don't know, hug your kids a little tighter. Call your mom. These are just some suggestions in honor of Ariana Rappaporte. All right. Hi, beauty.
Hi.
Ruby Rose Fox, I'm such a huge fan of yours. I'm so grateful for your work. In the pandemic, you resuscitated me.
Oh,
Somehow you found me and you were like, we are bang twins, although I don't have bangs anymore. We're bang twins. And I like your podcast. And then I just became your student. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the Mom Curious gang? Let them know who you are and maybe how you can help us regulate our nervous systems for optimal performance as moms.
sure. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm not a mom, but I am a dog mom, and I am a mother to my own nervous system almost every second of my life.
Counts beyond. Counts.
And I think what moms and performers have in common, and performers are who I work with. I am a very niche coach because I help regulate performers, actors, singers, musicians, comedians, trapeze artists, opera singers. And my work is a bit disruptive because it's challenging traditional therapy, saying that, like, if you are having a panic attack 5 minutes before you have to hit the stage, we don't have 5 years to sit and talk about your problems. We need to settle the metabolic emergency going on in your body and use the right tool in the right moment for the best outcome possible.
Mm. High performers. Although I have to say that I do think that moms on the playground, when their kid is triggered and then they're triggered because nervous systems act that way,
Absolutely.
contagiously. I do feel like your work translates really well for those moments.
And let's just be real, moms are taking on a lot.
Mhm.
Not that they should, but they are. And so it's great to have tools to work with that
Mm.
really work,
Mm.
that really shift your experience in the moment. One of my greatest inspirations was a Jewish psychologist named Phil Stutz. Well, he's a psychiatrist, and he always wanted to leave his clients with a tool that they could feel and hold on to and use for the week. And so I've always used that as a mark of how we want to give people things that are practical
Yeah.
and actionable in order to make a shift in your nervous system.
Can
And
we
that's
define what a nervous system is for the audience?
yeah. So it's extremely complicated, but we have two parts of our nervous system to really think about. One is your central nervous system, which is your brain and your spine. And then we have our autonomic nervous system, which contains our vagus nerve, which everyone's excited about these days. Um, but the big thing to think about when you think about the nervous system, I want you to think about states, like even an ice cube, like frozen or liquid or vapor. We have something similar where we have um, states of being that are preparing us for action in the world. So the big thing is to think about these experiences we're having that we call stress or shutdown. Um, they're specific states that our body's putting us into to take a certain action at any given time. So fight or flight is what I call move mode, or freeze is what I call preservation mode. It's trying to get us to be flat and on the floor. Don't move. There's a tiger present. And then the safe and social state is what I call connect mode. And it's saying, hey, connect to survive. Um, but in my work, because I work with performers, I've added a new state to this hierarchical system called Superplay.
I don't know if I'm in that right now, actually.
How do you know if you're in Superplay?
I think I am.
Well, let me tell you how I define Superplay, and I can tell you why you are and you might not be. So the way
Okay.
I define Superplay is like what happens to your nervous system when you start playing pretend. So like when you start singing Yiddish songs and you're singing from a character singing to another character, your nervous system is going to start having the experiences of that character. But there's a lightness to it. There's a lack of gravity. It's kind of like the feeling astronauts feel in space. They're like, I'm still moving my arms, but it's a little bit more fun. That's Superplay. So anytime we're playing pretend, we're in Superplay. In terms of like playfulness in the safe and social state or connect mode, I would say that you're actually having metacognition in role play. So, like, you're aware that you're playing facilitator, and I'm aware that I'm your guest as if we're role playing. And that's why it's so fun and playful.
It
So,
is so fun.
it's a, from the safe and social state to super play, there's like this spectrum of play that's kind of right in the middle. And that's probably what you're feeling is like, I'm not taking it that seriously. I know that role play is just play.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that's what makes it fun instead of like if you were like, this is very serious and we can't make any mistakes and I have to be the best podcaster in the world, you'd probably immediately dysregulate.
Yes. I have been that person.
Me
And it
too.
turns out that the best podcaster in the world, it does not make. Nope, that's not how that works. Exactly. Okay, so now we know what the nervous system is. We know what the autonomic nervous system is. We know what some states are.
Mhm.
You did mention tools, which I would love so much to provide the listener with because you have been so instrumental in like, I've mentioned so many times before, like the pandemic was very hard on me. I had two little kids, et cetera. I'm sure other people can relate. But our work together, working specifically with the body and the nervous system and these states really helped me be able to get myself to a place of equilibrium.
Mhm. Mhm.
And by the way, even in this grief state that I'm in, um, I have enough facility to know that I have to rest when I have to rest. Which, by the way, I'm not sure that I knew that before. This deep understanding of the body and how it affects the brain, and so on. That relationship.
Yep.
So, if we can offer some tools,
Yeah. Well,
would be so great.
let's talk about the tools, but I think what you just talked about was your awareness that you have a body budget, which
Did I have a body
most
what?
body budget. Meaning, like, we have this metabolic budget for the day, and we've been taught that we have an endless budget, and if we were just a better person or we just had more
Green
energy,
juice.
we could just have unlimited energy. That's what kind of what we're taught in school, is like, you can just be going and going and going if you were good enough, and that's just neurobiologically untrue. We have a budget for the day.
I actually was looking out the window today. I had a pretty sad morning, like you do when you've lost someone dear, and I'm sorry that you can relate,
Totally.
in your own way. And I looked out the window, having done our work together, and knowing that I'd meet you later today. Um, And I really did have a moment of peace where I said, I don't have more than this. I. And it is possible that Gabe might in my situation. Maybe he would have more. I'm just not Gabe. Gabe is the engineer. We love him so much. Thank you, Hoff Studios. And I'm not sure that
Yeah.
I knew that everyone has a budget
Right.
and everyone's budget is different. And we could talk about why. I've talked about it for many, like, sure, I could have a podcast about why, but really just accepting that in the depths of grief was very freeing and actually gave me maybe a bit of dopamine, maybe something, but I had a poof in my brain that was like, "That was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice thing to say."
And in my language, we call that unshaming the nervous system. It's unshaming your brain predictions. So, to talk about tools, we have to know who we are. And and to do that, we have to talk a little bit about the central nervous system, like the brain and what's actually happening. And the best way to describe this is like if you blurred your eyes out a little bit right now, like just blur your vision. Yeah, I know, you always have to make, like, the worst visual to do that. Basically, that is what we see as humans. The reason you're seeing any clarity right now in my face and eyes and hair is a hallucination of your brain. So you're living in your own brain. Your brain is like this mini model of the world, trying to model the world, and we just get, like, this sensory input from the world that we take in sometimes, but we're mostly living in brain predictions from the past.
Mm,
That's the most disturbing part. The other disturbing part is that we never choose our brain predictions, ever. Meaning, like, when you felt a little like, however you were feeling by the window today, that was not something you chose. It's Mother Nature offering you a little note to, "Would you like to sing this song?" And a tool is just saying, "Ah, thank you." Or I say, "Thank you, brain," or "Thank you, body budget," or sometimes, "Thank you, ground control." I like to think about it as NASA. But I'm gonna make a little shift.
mm. I'm gonna take any power, control, navigation I can
Yes.
in this moment.
Yes. So every single thing you're feeling is a brain prediction, but we've been taught that we create our experiences in the moment and then we identify them as me. And the biggest freedom is going, I never choose my brain predictions, but I can use a tool to shift if it's not leading me in the direction I want to go. Because sometimes they're perfect. Sometimes you want to go with your brain prediction. It's great. You know, if you're being chased by a tiger and your brain prediction is run, like, thank you,
Yeah,
right?
our brain predictions will likely keep us alive.
Yes.
That's what they're there for.
But there's many times that they are unfortunately leading us in a direction we don't want to go. So that's where a tool comes in. Um, but the primary thing to understand first is that we have a lot we have less free will than we think we do.
Mm.
Um,
We have a lot of, like, programming that we are managing.
yeah.
Although I will tell you that through this very intense period of my life, I am noticing that I have rewired quite a lot. I'm
Ah,
not as social as I once was. Like, I used to go out all the time. I used to really hustle, da, 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 and I'm home a lot more. I'm home with my thoughts. I'm home with my grief, and I have to give it to myself that and to all of us who have built lives, um, that we wanted for ourselves. That's not an easy thing to do, in general, and for the most part, I did it, and I'm still doing it. Um, you can override a lot of programming, societal programming, and the rest. And I know
Absolutely.
you know that. The tools are gonna
Absolutely.
help us, but
Yeah,
I just thought I'd tell you as my mentor and my friend, I'm doing it,
I'm so happy. That's the
even
best
even in the
outcome
depths.
possible.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Give
That
us a quick tool. Let's say we're about to scream at our kids or
Oh, sure, sure. So, um, I have some top favorite tools. So,
give me some top tips. Top
one of my
let's see it.
favorite tools is called calling out your dog. And this comes from the theta, where an acting teacher once said to me, "You should never have a dog or children on stage because they will always upstage you. And the audience will forget you're there, and all of their attention will go on the dog.
This is
But
true.
if you're the lead actor and you're ignoring the dog, the audience will become even more obsessed. And then they'll become obsessed with why you are unwilling to acknowledge the dog on stage. And then all this tension builds in you and in the audience, and no one's connecting. We've lost the plot, basically. And they don't even know if it's a safe dog or not. The stage is a platform of truth telling. Your only job is to tell the truth. It can hold so much. It can hold Madame Butterfly. It can hold death. It can hold all kinds of things. But it can't hold uh, an actor unwilling to tell the truth. And life is very similar. So, what an actor can do, because they don't have the lines. Let's say they're doing Chekhov. They don't have, oh, there's a dog in the play. But what they can do is they can look at the dog with the light and look at the audience and go, I see it too. I see the dog. And then the audience goes, "Oh, wow." The actor recognized the dog, and then it's everyone's favorite part of the show. So, the tool is that whenever you have a brain prediction of any state you don't desire. So, let's say you're at a coffee shop with a friend, and then all of a sudden you're feeling pain move up your neck, and it's just there, and you wanna hide it and you wanna mask. Or let's say you get on a Zoom meeting and then all of a sudden you get a ton of body budget. You start feeling a little nervous. Calling out your dog is a form of nervous system leadership in which you say, I'm the tuning fork here. I have a dog, and it's very likely that, let's say, if you're a mom, it's my children can see my dysregulation, or the audience can see my dysregulation, or my employees can see my dysregulation. And I've been tasked and honored with the leadership position. You can professionally disclose your dysregulation. So for a performer, it might look like, wow, I am full body vibrating, shaking. That must mean that you really mean something to me. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to do this performance for you. And then you've called out the dog. You've said, actually, this fight or flight is totally safe. And it's safe with me and it's safe with you. And now all of that energy can be repurposed. For a mom, it might look like, hey, buddy, mommy is feeling really anxious today, but I want you to know that it has nothing to do with you. And so if you see like my face look a little grumpy, it means that I'm feeling a little anxious, but you don't have to take care of me and it's going to be okay. Mommy can handle a Rottweiler. She's really strong. So then the child doesn't have to take care of the parent, just like the audience won't have to take care of the performer.
Yes.
So that's a tool for when your dysregulation is possibly leaking as a leader. So if no one can see it, you can just call it out to yourself. But if they can, it's very important that if they see cues of danger on your face, that you can disclose in a way that actually brings you closer instead of isolating.
Yes.
Does that
Okay,
make
cool.
sense?
Yeah, totally. I did that recently with my kids. I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm really sad these days. We are going to have a great life, and I can handle my sadness, and it will pass. And, I just said it out loud. I think I might
Yeah.
have just said that.
Yeah.
And my kids are like a little bit older and understand and whatever. But I think just being honest with them, I'm not trying to hide this from you because that's an uncomfortable feeling.
And then what you're teaching them is that it's safe to be with sadness.
Yeah, it sure is.
And
It
then
sure is.
when they're older and you're not there, they will embrace their sadness instead of pushing it away.
Mm. Give them more body budget.
Yeah.
You're welcome, kid.
All in a day's work. So that's one of the tools.
I love that. Can we get one more before we point everyone towards your book?
Oh, sure. What's another favorite? I think probably a top favorite is gonna be the rumination tool, which I call
Oh,
"It's totally possible" or "It's totally safe." So, basically, one of the biggest issues with being a performer, or let's say you're a mom, and performer on the way to something that's giving you a lot of anxiety. Um, Basically, all thinking that isn't in the here and now, so any thinking that's happening now, here and now, I call animal mode. This is like what a horse or a dog experiences. That would just be like the only thing I'd be allowed to say to you is like, I your shirt is blue, or you have a face, or I see green in the background. Basically anything here and now. But anything that any language that we're using about something that's not here is actually a form of superplay,
mm,
but the body doesn't know the difference.
right.
Just like every actor knows that, the body is listening. The body doesn't know you're acting, which is why we can do it. So, the rumination tool is about turning off the default mode network, basically turning off the faucet of those spinning thoughts that you feel like you just can't turn off, and it's making you anxious. So use this tool when you're pretty sure that your thinking is spooking your body like Halloween.
Mm,
So the tool is just this. When you notice rumination, you're going to want to disrupt it with "it's totally possible." And you just go into a tirade of either "it's totally possible" or "it's totally safe." So if you were a performer, it might sound like, "It's totally safe to have no idea how this is gonna go. It's totally safe to be in my car and be touching the wheel right now. It's totally safe that I prepared as much as I can, and I'm gonna let in some mystery. It's totally safe to lose this audition and, continue with my life. It's totally safe to, um, not get fixated on what their faces look like." So you're just kind of, um, I recommend going in the positive direction if you can, but you don't have to. But the biggest thing is turning off the faucet of the thoughts that just happen automatically.
yeah.
And we're kind of bringing ourselves back. So I say, like, I always feel a little guilty when I do this because I don't want people to think it's like about positivity or like just say happy things. It's not about that at all. It's about making sure the default mode network gets a little quieter and we're focusing on, the language that we're choosing, so a task positive. Does that make sense?
Yes, that totally makes sense. I mean, I think your analogy in the beginning was if you're having a panic attack right before you get on stage, right? And so,
Mhm,
like, in these moments of acute um, dysregulation, let's say on the playground, it's totally okay for my kid to have a fight with a neighborhood child, or it's totally okay. It's totally okay. And you may need to remove yourself from the situation at some point, but maybe you're on your way, you're about to step on stage, or maybe you're at the playground. Like
yeah.
this is something that you pull out of your toolkit right then and there. Something else that you taught me was push-ups
Mhm,
when
mhm,
I would feel anxious, and I know that with children also they use this pushing sensation,
mhm.
pushing against a wall, pushing against a um, uh, an adult's hands when they're feeling overwhelmingly angry or anxious or like they have the zoomies of some sort, and I felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was a really great lesson where you taught me that my muscles actually the more I strengthen my muscles, the more my nervous system can feel supported. And I thought that that was like a really great tool that I wanted to share with everyone for children and for adults, by the way,
Yes. Yes.
because we're like made the same, turns out.
I mean, that when I learned the polyvagal protocol, which is one of the modalities I use, that muscle contraction is the key to panic, I didn't believe it. I didn't use it for 2 years after I learned it because I was just like, "That couldn't possibly work." And when I did it for the first time, it was like, my nervous system completely shifted in a very small amount of time, and I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
It turns out working out is like more than looking good.
Way more. Well, think about this. This is called the push press plank tool, or you could use, another tool I have, it's big moves tool, which is all about muscle contraction. This is the perfect fight or flight tool because think about it. Your brain is sending cortisol to your body. When you think about cortisol, don't think about stress, think about glucose, energy.
Mm,
It's sending energy into your bloodstream, tons of it. Any dog that goes into move mode goes into zoomies, but
right.
yet we suppress children and tell them that they should just somehow override it and repress that need to move. So the best way to shorten your stress response is to really put like, I don't mean just push a little bit. I mean like push until you get that shaking with your hands. Because not only does your brain go, I think I got away from the tiger, it also metabolizes a little bit of glucose. So it's taking your blood sugar down at the same time. And for kids, and parents, this is so important. And it's unfortunately, we've been indoctrinated and trained from the American school system that when we're having a panic moment or stressed, just pretend like it's not happening and immobilize, which causes a freeze response.
Which we don't want.
Yep.
What we do want is your book, and we wanna know where to find you,
Cool.
and, we want more of you and muscle music if you'll let
Yay.
us in.
Yeah, so my new book is called Superplay, Your Instrument is You, which is taking nervous system science, but I have my own theory called the Fox method, which adds superplay, adds pretend. So it's adding a little fun element. Um, and just gives you a total framework for your actual instrument. So you think your instrument is your clarinet or your body or your voice, but your real instrument is your nervous system. It's the
Mhm.
matrix behind all of it. And when you have more power over it, you you literally have more power in the world to make actions in the direction you want to go. So,
Can
um,
confirm.
yeah. So there's a bunch of little tools in the book. I have probably like my top 10 favorite in the book. Um, and it also lays out this bigger framework for you to see what's behind the hood that no one ever talks about, even in some of the best training schools in term Juilliard, NYU. You're not going to get taught this. So uh, this is what you didn't learn in college.
And where can we find you online? Are you on TikTok these days? I'm not.
I can't. I mean, a little bit. I've been, like, forcing myself
But on
to
Instagram, you're at Ruby Rose Fox
Instagram's
still?
really all I do. Yeah. I That's all I have the
Ruby
bandwidth
Rose
for.
Fox and at Muscle Music, right?
I have Ruby Rose Fox as my musician handle, and then Muscle Music is my, company. Yeah.
Um, I actually really love your music so much, which we have not gotten into, but maybe another time. Thank you for this. Thank you for your work. I'm really literally so grateful. It's had ripple effects on my life and in my family, and I'm just so deeply, deeply thankful for your brilliance.
Oh, that means the world. And I just wanna say there's also a for me, there's also a dead sister behind all of it that drives so much meaning, and so I see you, I see what you're doing and why you're doing it, and these sisters of ours that are little angels in heaven right now are watching over us and are going to be guiding us and whispering, "You are the real deal," every
Mm,
day.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you. All right. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week on the Mom Curious podcast. And please do follow my amazing friend, Ruby Rose Fox. Get her book. You're welcome. And do a kind deed for Ariana Rapaporte. And hey, why not for Dahlia Fox also? Be well, guys.